friend, welcome back to LearningStrome Academy. So in this video guys, we are going to talk about arithmetic operators. So this topic seems like it is very easy because in other language this is the very first topic that we studied about operators. So today, but as we know, in Python we have many different data types, like we have list, tuples and sets, dictionaries. Okay, and so here the arithmetic operators behave some different for the other data types. Okay, so in this video friend, we are going to discuss all about that, how our arithmetic operator works for different data types. Okay, and two additional things in Python friends, we have two more additional arithmetic operators that are introduced in Python. So we are going to discuss all about it. Okay, so the first operator for which we are going to talk about is addition operator. As we know friend, addition operator is an binary operator. So it's mean that it's need two operand always to evaluate its expression. Okay, so whenever it wants to evaluate the expression, it's need exactly two operand. So friend, what are the various data types in which we can perform addition operation? Okay, so let's perform addition between two two operands which are boolean. Okay, so friend, what do you think, like, is it right? See, we are getting 2 here. It's mean that we can also add two. We can also perform addition operation between two boolean types. Okay, but since such kind of expression is not valid in other languages like Python, like Java. Okay, and if we are going to execute this kind of expression in other language, in that case, friend, we are going to get a compile time error. But here, friend, it is possible to add two booleans. Okay, what are the answer we are getting? We are getting two. How we are getting two? Actually, in Python, we have corresponding value to the Boolean values. Okay, so 1 plus 1 become 2. That's why we are getting 2. Okay, so we can also add a Boolean number with integers, like we have integer, and I want to add a Boolean number with integers. So it is also possible. Okay, so we can also perform addition between a complex number, like complex number we have. Okay, so all these kind of things are possible. So if anyone is going to give you this kind of expression in which you have a bool type, okay, as a part of expression, so don't be confused that, okay, or don't be feel like that it is going to generate us any syntax error or compile time error. In Python friend, it is going to work fine. Okay, so you have to remember this. So if I will compile the program, so we are going to get, see, for answer 2, 31 and 3 plus 30. Okay, so here 2 plus 1 3, 30 plus 1 31, and 1 plus 1 2. Okay, so friend, if whenever you want to perform in Python, when we have a ability to perform addition operation with also boolean data. Okay, so friend, as we know, we can perform addition between some basic types. Okay, but what about the other type that we have, like we have strings. If I have two string like hello, and I want to welcome. Okay, now friend, what will happen if I want to add two string and I am trying to add it with the use of plus operator, addition operator? So what is going to happen? So if I will see, friend, here we are getting hello welcome. Actually here our plus operator works as a concatenation operator. Okay, so friend, in this case actually what happened, our interpreter is going to append this welcome with this hello. Okay, one thing that you have to remember, whenever we are going to append or concatenate our two string with the help of plus operator or addition operator, in that case when we are not going to get space between them. See, here we are not getting any space. Okay, so whenever we are going to concatenate our strings using the plus operator, in that case we are not going to get a space. Okay, if I want a space or if you want a space, then you have to explicitly define that space. Okay, so this is the point that you have to remember. Okay, if I want space, then I have to specify that space explicitly. See, if now I will run my program, you can see here now we have a space. Okay, so whenever we are going to provide an addition operation between the two string, in that case our compiler is going to concatenate both two string, but it is not going to provide any space between them. Okay, it is just going to append the second string with the first string. Okay, so in that case if you want space, then you have to explicitly define the space. Okay, so this is all about the strings. If I want to perform addition between strings, so this is our rule. Okay, but if I want to perform addition between with list, so what will happen? Let's see we have a list like, let's say we have a list like whose value is 10, 20 and 30, and I want to add it with other list. Okay, in that case what is going to happen? Like we have a 10, 20. Okay, and like we have 10, 20. In this case what is going to, is it going to add 10 plus this 10, this 20 with this 20? Okay, or 30 simply, is it going to add index wise? Okay, or what is going to happen? Let's see. So we have to remember one point: whenever we are going to perform addition operation between the sequences, in that case our arithmetic addition operation is not going to add according to its index wise. Okay, it is just going to append the second sequence with the first sequence. Okay, as you can see here, the second sequence was 10 and 20, it just appended with the first sequence. Okay, 10, 20, 30, and then the second sequence we have 10 and 20. Okay, so whenever we are going to perform addition operation between the sequence type, like we have tuples, list or strings, in that case our compiler is not going to add the values that corresponding to index. It is just going to append the second the sequences with each other. Okay, if I'm going to consider a tuple, let's say we have a head tuple. Okay, in that case our compiler is just going to provide, see here it is also pending. Okay, so you have to remember whenever we are going to perform addition operation between the sequences like strings, tuple and list, in that case if I want to perform addition operation, in that case our compiler is going to perform append operation. Okay, so this is for the tuples. Okay, now when if I have a set, okay, if I have a set and I want to add this data of one set with the other data, so what do you feel, it is possible or not? Like we have a set. Okay, I want to add these two sets. Okay, so what is going to happen? See, we are going to get an error. We cannot perform an addition operation between the sets between the dictionaries. Okay, so the addition operation, you have to remember the few points regarding addition operation. We cannot, addition operation is not valid for the dictionaries and set. Okay, if I won't perform an addition operation between two dictionaries data type and two set data type, so our interpreter is going to give us a compile run an error. Okay, so you have to remember this point. Okay, so but the addition operation is possible for the sequence type, like we have list, tuples and the strings. Okay, in that case our interpreter is not going to add it for corresponding to index. Okay, it is just going to append the other list with the first list. Okay, and for the fundamental is behave simply. So this is for the addition operation. The next operation for which we are going to discuss is subtraction. So how our interpreter works for subtraction? So simplified, if I want to perform true minus false, so what the answer might you think we will get? See here, true minus 1, it mean that our interpreter is going to convert this table in this 1 minus 0. Okay, so 1 minus 0 is equal to 1. Okay, so the answer we are going to get is 1. Okay, see here we're getting 1. Okay, so we can perform a subtraction operation between boolean type also. Okay, so this is also possible for the boolean type. Okay, so as we know, we can perform subtraction operation between two integer types. Okay, because these are the basic things. Okay, and into complex data types. Okay, and we can subtract two float number, but can we subtract two list with each other? Can we subtract two tuples with each other? Can we subtract two strings with each other? Okay, so let's see this kind of options possible or not. Okay, let's suppose I have a string like hello, and I want to remove this h this h from the this h from the this hello. Okay, so can we do with this minus sign, friend? Okay, so actually, friend, this is not a possible operation. Okay, so we cannot perform a minus operation between the sequences. Okay, like we have sequences, tuples, list, and dictionaries. Okay, if I will try to perform a operation, minus operation, subtraction operation between sequences, okay, in that case, right, we are going to get an error. Okay, see here we are trying to subtract two sequences. Okay, in that case we are getting an error. Let's suppose when we have a list, okay, and like whose value is 10, 20, and 30, and I'm thinking that I have understood list whose value is 10 and 20, and I'm thinking that can I subtract this 10 and 20 from this list? Okay, can I subtract this list from this list? Okay, so friend, this kind of operation is also not valid. Okay, if I will try to subtract one list from other list, in that case we are going to get an unspotted operand type. Okay, we cannot use minus sign for the list and list. Okay, so friend, here you have to remember this point. We cannot perform subtraction operation between the sequences like list, sequences like tuple, sequences like string. Okay, so friend, one, let's say, can we perform the subtraction operation between the sets? Like we have a set 10, 20, and 30. I want to subtract one set with the other set. As we saw that we cannot perform addition between two sets. So can we perform a subtraction between two sets? Okay, so let's compile this program. See if we can subtract. Yes, we can subtract one set from other set. We cannot add two set, but we can perform subtraction. Okay, you have to remember this point. Okay, subtraction operation between two sets is valid operation. Okay, so you have to remember regarding this point. Okay, subtraction operation is between two set is valid. Okay, so can we if I have a dictionary like learn, okay, and I want to perform subtraction between them, so is it possible? Like learn Python, so is it possible or not? Okay, so when I'm going to do this again, we are going to get an error that minus sign is not unspotted operand type. Okay, so now fine, I think it is clear to you what are the valid operand kind in which we can, for which we can use the subtraction. So the for the so friend, we cannot perform subtraction between the dictionaries, tuples, list, and string. Okay, but subtraction a particular set from a list set is valid. Okay, so you have to remember this point. Okay, so for subtraction you have to remember that we can perform subtraction between integers with boolean data type, with complex data type. Okay, but we cannot perform subtraction between the sequences like string, list, and tuples, and we cannot perform the subtraction between the dictionaries, but we can perform the subtraction between two sets. Okay, you have to remember this thing. The other operator we have is, friend, multiplication. Okay, so now, friend, we have to see that what are for multiplication, what are the various possible data types. Okay, so friend, as we know, we can perform multiplication between the two basic type like 10 integers. Okay, we can perform multiplication between two integer numbers. It is a basic where. Okay, so this is a possible case. Okay, we can also perform a uh, multiplication between two boolean type, like we have a true and I want to perform a multiplication with the false. Okay, in that case we are going to get a 0 as answer, because 1 multiplied by 0 is equal to 0. Okay, so in this case we are going to get 0 as a answer. Okay, so see here we are going to get 0 as answer. So this is the basic thing. Okay, we can also perform multiplication between the two complex numbers. Okay, so like we have number 2 plus 3j. Okay, and I want to perform uh, a multiplication operation like 4 plus 6j. Okay, in that case, see, it is also possible. Okay, so friend, this you have to remember that multiplication operation between the complex number is also a valid operations. Okay, so for the fundamental type multiplication operation is possible. Okay, now we have to saw that is the multiplication operation is possible for the other data types like we have. Okay, so let's see, we have a let's talk first about first sequences. Like we have a sequence learning Python. Okay, so if I want to multiply two strings with each other, so what is going to happen? So is it a valid operation or not? Okay, so let's see. Here friend, we are going to get an error. We cannot multiply sequence by okay, non-integer. Okay, so what it's mean? It's mean that we only multiply our sequence with the integers. We only multiply our sequences with the integer. Okay, so here we are getting one hint. It's mean that if I want to perform a multiplication operation with the sequences, then one operand must be type of integer. Okay, see, if I want to perform this I want to perform multiplication with the string, then one operand must be type of strings. Okay, so in this case it is going to valid operation. We have learning and learning. Okay, so friend, what is this? Actually this kind of operation is known as repetition. Okay, this is known as repetition operation. Repetition operation. So friend, in Python, if you want to repeat a particular sequence, okay, number of times, so in that case friend, we can use our multiplication operator. Okay, so what is the requirement for it? For friend, it, as we know, multiplication is a binary operator. For this we need a two operands. Okay, so one operand can be type of a string, another operand can be type of a integer. Okay, it cannot be an can be type of any other than the integer. Okay, if I'm going to take any other type, like I want to take float, okay, 3.0, in that case we are going to get an error. See, here we are getting error, we cannot multiply sequence by non-integer. Okay, so it must be a integer. Okay, it must be an integer. Okay, if I will multiply it with true, okay, with like true, in that case friend, you can see here we are going to get learning. Why? Because here true have a corresponding integer value 1. Okay, that's why this operation is possible. Okay, if so, don't think that it is not an integer, so we are going to get an error. Here it is also possible. Okay, it's because true have a corresponding integer value 1. Okay, so friend, you have to remember this point. We can multiply our particular string with a integer number always. Okay, so friend, this is for these strings. Okay, as I told you, the multiplication operation is possible for these sequences. Okay, so the other sequences we have like list. Okay, like I have list 10, 20 and 30, and I can also perform a repetition operation between with it. Okay, but I cannot multiply two strings with two lists with each other. See, if I am going to perform this operation, in that case we are going to get an error. See, here we are getting, we cannot multiply a sequence with a sequence. Okay, so friend, you have to remember that whenever I multiplication between two sequences is not possible. So what are the sequences we have? We have sequences strings, we have a sequence like tuples, we have sequences like list. Okay, so if I am going to multiply these sequences with each other, in that case we are going to get an error. Okay, but we can use multiply operation with the sequences when we have one operand as an integer. Okay, so this operation is known as the repetition operation. Okay, so here if I will multiply my if I want to repeat my sequence by 6 times, so I can do. Okay, here we have 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30 till it is repeated till 6 times. Okay, so friend, so this operation is known as repetition operation. Okay, so the repetition operation is only possible for the sequences of, okay, like let's copy this and let's paste here and let make it tuple. Okay, so it is another sequence that we have. Okay, so let repeat it just 2 times, so it is easy to observe you all, for you all. Okay, so here you can see we are repeating our tuple 2 times, here we are repeating our list 2 times. Okay, so the repetition operation is possible for the for the sequences. Okay, now friend, if I will consider sets. Okay, so can we multiply one set with other sets? Okay, can the repetition operation also valid for the ones sets? Okay, so let's see. So here we are going to get an error. We cannot multiply a set with other set. Okay, you have to remember that multiplication operation between the two sequences is not possible. Multiplying operation between these sets is not possible. Okay, but repetition operation for the sequences is valid. Okay, so let's see, is the repetition operation is also valid for the sets. Okay, so let's see and let's compile our program. Here when we are going to get an error, we cannot multiply a set then integer. Okay, it means that the repetition operation is only valid for the strings, list and tuples. Okay, it is not valid for the string valid for the sets. Okay, you have to remember this. Okay, so you have to always also remember that it is also not valid for the it is almost also not valid for dictionaries. Okay, if I want to perform a repetition operation with the dictionary, it is also not valid. Okay, and also we cannot multiply one dictionary with the dictionary. Okay, so friend, you have to remember these things always. Okay, so what are the valid thing and what are the invalid thing? Okay, so here we are going to get an error. So friend, multiplication operation is valid for the basic fundamental type, and it is also valid for the sequences we have. If I want to multiply two sequences, in that case we are going to get an error, but we can perform a repetition operation with the sequences like list, string and tuple. In the case of repetition operation, one operand must be kind of integer. Okay, and one more thing that I have to tell you regarding repetition operation perform, the order in which we are taking is not mandatory. Okay, we can take either integer first and then the sequence like here. Okay, in that case we are not going to get an error. Okay, in this it is going to work same like as previously it was doing. Okay, let me make the previous this line comment. Okay, you can see here we are not getting an error. Okay, so the order in which we are taking our operands are optional. Okay, we can take our operands in any order. Okay, so for repetition operation, the rule is like first one operand should be kind of integer. Order is not mandatory. Okay, and the repetition operator is only possible with the list, strings and tuple. Okay, we cannot multiply two sets with each other. We cannot perform repetition operation also for the sets and dictionary. Okay, and we cannot also multiply two dictionary with each other. Okay, so this is a rule that for the multiplication that you have to remember. Okay, so the next operator for we have is friend, we have friend is division operator. Here friend, you have to see one trick. Okay, see here we have a like, see if I want to divide it number 10 by 2. Okay, so what the answer you are expecting, what we are going to get? See, 10 divided by 2 what? Simply 5. Okay, so let's combine. Here we are getting 5.0. Why? It's just because friend, in Python, whenever we are going to divide a number with other number, in that case, the result that we are going to get is kind of float. Okay, in Python, friend, Python always give us float division. Okay, so it is not going to give us an result in an integer form. Like I want to divide 10 by 3. In that case, friend, see we are going to get a result 3.335. Okay, so it is not like other language in which our result is kind of integer. Okay, here the result that we are getting is kind of float. Okay, so you have to remember this point friend, it is different with other languages. In Python uh, division gives us float result. Okay, float result. Okay, so friend, in Python actually the division that we perform is different than the other language. Whenever we are going to perform a division between two operand, in that case the result that we are going to get is always in which kind, it is in the form of float. Okay, so friend, if I want, so we have to we can also, so let's see which so when if I want to get a result in integral form, so what are the so how we can achieve the result in integral form? So don't bother about that. We have one operator that is float division. Okay, if I want my result in integral form, then we have a floor division for it. Okay, so let's suppose we have 10. I want to get my result in a integer format, so I can use the floor division for it. Okay, so let's save this program, let's compile. Here friend, you can see here we are getting 5n as output. Okay, here we are not getting see, here we're getting 3 as an output, here we are not getting 3.35. So, okay, so friend, this is the difference between the floor division and the simple division. Okay, so if you are going, if you are going to use a simple division operator, in that case the result that you are going to obtain is a float. Okay, but if you are going to use a floor division, in that case the result you are going to get is kind of integer. Okay, so this is the difference between the Python floor division and simple division. Okay, the floor division is new in Python. Okay, so let's see now, you can see here the difference. Okay, here we are using a simple division and we can see the result that we are getting is kind of float. Okay, here we are using a floor division. Okay, the result we are getting as an integer. Okay, so this is the new thing in Python. Okay, the floor division. Then one new operator in Python friend is modulus, or no, not modulus, exponent. Okay friend, so what is exponent? Actually friend, exponent is used to calculate a power of particular number. Okay, if I want to calculate power 2 raised power 8, I want to calculate 10 raised power 3. Okay, in this case friend, we can use our exponent function. Let's suppose we have exponent. I want to check 2 raised the power false. Oh, is it wrong? What do you think? Is it wrong or right? It is right, friend. See, here we're getting one. How we are getting one? Let me explain you. Actually, it's mean that friend. It's mean that uh, 2 raised power 1. Okay, 2 raised power 0. Okay, so as we know, the power of 2 raised power 0 is equal to 1. Okay, if we're going to take power n is power 0, in this case we are going to get 1 as a result. Okay, so we can, here we can perform like 12.4 power 2. Okay, 2.5. Okay, so we can also take a float number for it. Okay, see, we are getting 5, 4 and 1. Okay, so the input for the exponent can be a kind of operand. Okay, can be a kind of integer, can be a float. Okay, let's see, 10 raised power 2. Okay, in this case we are going to get as a 100 as a result. See, here we are getting 100. So exponent is used to actually calculate power of some number. Okay, so you can, if you want to use it to calculate power, in that case we can use exponent. This is also a new operator in Python. Okay, so the next operator that we are going to discuss is modulus. So modulus is we are also did in other language. Modulus is used to get the remainder. Okay, if you want to obtain a remainder, like print 10 by 10 by like 10 by, yeah, 10 modulus 3. In that case friend, we are going to get, see, 1 as an output. Okay, so actually it gives us a remainder. Okay, so as in by other language friend, if the result we cannot perform modulus operation between the float number. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen here. But in Python friend, we can perform modulus operation between the float number. Okay, so this is the difference between other language and Python. Okay, if we are going to perform modulus operation with the float number, in that case we are going to get a compile time error. Okay, for this we have a fmod function, but in Python friend, we can perform a modulus operation with the float number. Okay, so you have to remember, in Python in Python modulus operation is also possible for the possible for the floats number also. Okay, float number also. So friend, this you have to, this is the difference in other language with the other language in Python. Okay, so friend, if we are going to divide any number by 0, in that case, if in that case we are going to get an error, the division by 0. Okay, division by 0, integer division by 0. Okay, so friend, but in, as we know, in Java, if we are going to divide a floor number with 0, in that case we are not going to get an compile time error exception. Okay, we are going to get a particular output. Okay, but in Python friend, here we are going to get an error that, actually I haven't seen before. Here friend, we are going to get an error that float modulo. Okay, that we Yeah, here float model, float model division. Okay, so let's say here the division by zero, float division by zero. Okay friend, so here actually Python was different than the other language. Okay, like in Java, if I am going to divide my number, float number with zero, in that case we are not going to get a comparative error. In that case we are going to get infinity, positive infinity or negative infinity as an output. But here friend, in Python, if we are going to divide any number with zero, we are going to get an error, that division by zero error. Okay, and the thing that you have to remember regarding the for the modulus operator. Okay, let's suppose we have 310 and let's perform. Okay, we can perform the modulus operation also for the float number. Okay, so this is the difference with Python and the other language. Okay, so here friend, arithmetic operators have little bit different definition with the other languages. Okay, so you have to remember this point. Okay, thank you friend, bye bye.